Hello, everyone. I am Brent Barlow, and this is Blue Light Daily, a discussion of relevance and import. We are broadcasting on this Monday, October 20, 2025. Every year it goes faster and faster. It is 12 noon local, 1900 Zulu. We believe in the importance of public debate and the requirement of civility, the necessity of education and the strength of knowledge, the value of coming together, and the power of collaboration. Before we begin, we pause to focus on our work, breathing in deeply, aligning with intention, dreaming the I'm possible. Assisted by ancestors, powered by providence, rooted in reverence. The word spoken, the path clear, the way cool. Let us build what is worthy. Let us remember the dream forgotten. Let's make some magic together now. Ashe Madase. Today's word of the day is etymology. Etymology is the origin of a word. Its history, where it came from, how it became. Etymology. I've told you words are important to me, and I like the word etymology. Our quote of today will be appreciated by a segment of our audience, I hope. Comes from Thomas Earl Petty. Born this day, 1950. Tom Petty was an iconic American singer-songwriter, left an indelible mark after 4 decades. Quote, do something you really like and hopefully it pays the rent. As far as I'm concerned, that's success. Well, aren't we all just trying to do something we're enjoying and make a living at it? Point of personal privilege. I have shared a little bit about some of the challenges that I've been going through, and this probably all falls under the category of everyone bears a burden and no one gives a shit about mine. Not to be crude and not to be put too fine a point on it, but hey, we're born believing that our navel is the center of the universe, and at some point we realize that our father is not quite as stupid as we thought he was when we were young, dumb, and quite the idiot. So, I am going to share a little bit in the spirit of kind of disclosing who I am and pulling back some of the covers, the curtains, and we'll see where it goes. This is more of an experiment than anything else. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this broadcast is intended to serve as a platform to talk, share, learn, and grow. We're building a community at Labella B demonstrates a better way that's not only possible but necessary. Here I speak directly and honestly, sharing a vision for a world worth leaving. Participation is invited. Feedback is requested. This is about we, not me. Any number of issues demand our attention and require action, which is why I choose to act and offer here my take on current conditions and where I think we're headed. The question, again, is what will you do? So, I've asked you to spend some time with me, and I think it's only fair that I share a little bit about who I am, and in so doing, I want to find out a little bit about who you are. I believe that we all bring to this moment everything that has preceded it. All of our opinions, all of our experiences, all of our biases and whatnot and what have you. So, I have chosen to put myself out there and to share myself honestly and suffer whatever detriment I may, the slings and arrows of critics, the failure of a dream believed possible, showing myself a fool because I can't get out of my own way and stop talking. But at the end of the day, this thing was mostly motivated by my desire to show my children rather than tell my children how they could live an authentic life, embrace who they were, and not have to worry about much else. I have said, if you build it, they will come. If you have not, if you build it, he will come. If you build it, he will come. Build it, they will come. If you have not seen A Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, I encourage you to see that movie. The tenet I'm referring to is, my belief is that if you own it, if I own it, and I'm authentic about it, there is a way to monetize it and attract an audience. So again, I want you to know who I am in the spirit of hopefully building an audience, or at least doing it authentically, doing this authentically. And I will tell you a number of things about me. Among them are, I am very opinionated. I am fairly educated. I'm humble enough to know I don't know everything and that you might have something worth sharing. I strive to be a better person every day, and I can be a bit of a asshole when I am confronted with a situation that I feel I'm in the presence of stupidity. There's really no better way to say it. I come off as very condescending and very much the a-hole. And in the spirit of always trying to improve myself, I'm trying to recognize that. In my marriage, for example, I've gotten a lot better, but still the issue persists that I can be a little sharp, a little tart, a little vicious with my words, and it can make for a very tense situation. So I'm trying to be a better person in that regard. I'm also very strong opinion with regard to social and political issues, and reticent to engage in debate on those issues. What is the saying? Never talk religion or politics at the dinner table. I just prefer to not engage people because far too often people talk out of their butts. They don't know what they're talking about. They're offering their opinion. They're offering what they're claiming to be facts, which are not facts. And the conversation can deteriorate and become very emotional pretty quickly. That's not something I even really want to get into. I bumped into a friend recently, and he's very strongly opinioned, and we share a lot of common views. And he's someone who is very passionate about it. He's informed, he's articulate, but there's a certain demand by some, and it doesn't matter where on the political spectrum you fall, that that compliance with expectation is the only way a conversation can proceed. And that expectation can be either you're sane or you're an idiot. Uh, you don't know what you're talking about, or everything you say is righteous. There's just so many different variables. But the reality is that the kind of debate that I enjoy having is one where we can have a calm, cool, collected conversation about relevant issues, which is what I'd like to do here. I had a conversation this weekend, and I will share with you a bit of it here with Trent Thane, who's a senior at USC.
Brent Barlow.
My brother, my friend, my pal, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous, thank you. I appreciate you making the time, dude. You know, you're a busy college senior, right?
Yes, I am. Last semester. Yes, I'm
And
excited to be here.
well, thank you for joining us here at Blue Light Daily with Brent Barlow.
There we go.
So you want to tell everybody how we know each other? I mean, let's start there and who you are.
So my name's Trent Thane, currently a senior at USC, studying political economics with the minor in finance. Upon graduating, I will be working as an investment banker at a middle market firm here in LA. And me and Brother Barlow know each other as he was my chapter advisor for SAE. I'm one of the founding members here at California Gamma and was our treasurer and now currently our house's house manager.
Fantastic. And you are originally from the beautiful Northwest.
The city of Bellevue, Washington, right up there in Seattle.
Awesome. Well, it's nice of you to join us. And I told everybody you were a smart guy. You have an insight and capacity to articulate.
I love that.
Um, Recently, now a month ago, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Have you seen any activity on campus, one way or the other, anywhere on the political spectrum with regard to that incident?
I'd say it really depends at the end of the day who you're talking to in regards to the incident. Obviously, you have some people who were devastated by it. He did actually speak at USC at one point. You definitely had a lot of people who followed him closely, and he was dear to their heart. While on the other side, you had a lot of people I'd say were not very fond of him, didn't like his message and what he was saying out to the world, and maybe didn't celebrate it, but was definitely not sad about what happened. Is the best way to put it. So it really depended on who you talk to.
Did you happen to check it out?
I was there for a little bit of it, was mostly passing through, but the crowd was enormous, especially
Yeah.
because it really splits people up down the aisle and you can immediately tell who's a fan and who's not.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had a very provocative way about him that he kind of marketed exceptionally well, and he was very effective at getting his message out and obviously provoking people to take action.
And again, like if you'd see his most watched clips as well, the ones that did the best weren't the ones where it was the civil debate. It was the ones where there was the screaming and the yelling.
Well, that's what sells, right?
That is what sells today.
All right. So you're living in somewhat of a bubble that I shared that pleasurable enjoyment of only living in the house. Dude, it's the place you want to be, right?
100%. No better place.
But because I respect you and believe you are smarter than your average bear, I will ask you your opinions about the landscape that you find yourself in, not necessarily professionally, because you've already got a pretty clear trajectory of where you're headed professionally. But there are social influences, there are things going on that will impact you professionally and personally. And I can point out some specifically, but do you have any, how do you bear down for what is inevitably in your future?
I mean, at the end of the day, what I will say is that the future right now, with what AI is going on, the political state of the country, what's going on, I truly believe we are stepping into an unknown that I don't think anyone can really predict how the next 10 years, next 5 years, next 2 years will shape up with what regulation is in place. We'll see how the economy is. We've been on a boom for the past, basically since COVID, essentially, where the market has been ripping at an unprecedented pace right now, and it has to
Mhm.
crash at one point. We'll see how the bubble affects everyone. We'll see if it's just a stock market crash, if we go more to a housing crash like '08, and if that has ripple effects, or we'll see if it's a credit collapse. Again, the rise of private credit right now, and especially it's starting to become more institutionalized within bigger banks. As you saw the other week, Jamie Dimon said press release about it, how he even believes that it is bad for America, but at the end of the day, how can he not jump on it and include JP Morgan in there? So again,
Mhm.
we'll see. I mean, it's a pretty exciting time, I would say. And again, in my industry, it's been struggling a little bit recently because of the high rates. It is more expensive to acquire debt right now, which has made companies less attractive. So we'll see.
Well, you have always been bullish, and you are uh, you are able to see things that I don't. And I appreciate you pointing them out. Um, you know, you talked about AI. You know, OpenAI was just a week or 10 days ago valued at $500 billion. Did you see that?
Hmm.
And there is so much fucking money out there. It, what impacts do you see with the just obscene concentration of wealth globally, but specifically in the US?
I mean, again, everyone has been making money recently, basically. Just even markets turned 12% a year recently, which has been pretty high. But this concentration of money and what we've been allowed to do because of it is companies aren't going public anymore. So, in a way, the only people who have access to these investment opportunities are the top 1%, people who have 3 or 4 million to put into a private equity fund. We're starting to see the growth of money between the top 1% and the rest of people who only have access to these public markets just exponentially get bigger and bigger and bigger.
You probably also saw Trump now is the largest private Bitcoin holder.
I did
Did you see
not
that?
know that.
Yeah. So I mean, he's really playing his cards well right now,
I did
right?
not know that.
So let me ask you, you just kind of articulated this growing divide. What do you prognosticate on whatever time horizon you want to use of the societal impact of this growing divide?
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing that it does have going for it in that growing divide is that the largest people who have money in this sort of private capital are pension funds. So hopefully we'll continue to see those do well. But I mean, eventually, again, like the fact that we have so many billionaires, it's only become more and more. I honestly don't know a time horizon, maybe 5 to 10 years to when we'll really see just the rates of return on them compared to us be exponentially shown.
The guy is super sharp. He's got an opinion, and I invited him. I've invited others, and I invite you to a conversation because that is what is most important. So, the conversation I was having with this friend of mine who is strongly opinioned, and we have children in school together, and we were discussing that there is a, and these are middle schoolers. We're talking the girls who play on my soccer team, 12, 13, 14. This is pre-high school. These are little kids. But they already have at their middle school a Charlie Kirk interest group or something. I mean, I just heard about it. I haven't had a chance to look into it, but apparently there's a group of kids who are inspired by the work of Charlie Kirk, and at 12, 13 years old, organized a club at school. Well, and be a chapter of the organization, Turning Point USA, I don't know. Are they going after kids that little? I thought they focused principally or exclusively on college-age kids, but such is life. That being the case, I'm wondering with this other parent, are there alternative voices being heard? Now, this is a situation where it's you have to collect the facts because I don't know squat diddly what's going on. All I've heard a rumor. So trust but verify. I'm going to go do my own fact finding. But if I find out that that's the case, I want to understand what the dynamics are. And I'm not looking to institute any kind of cancel culture or whatever. I just want to know what is going on. And anyone who would criticize me for asking a question, shame on them, I guess, cast no stone. That's interesting that I put it that way because that is kind of exactly what happened this weekend with this No Kings Day rallies that went on around the country yesterday. I'm assuming that many people came out yesterday to protest the administration, Trump, in what they were referring to as a No Kings Day. The administration and the people within Trump's sphere of influence were consistently criticizing those who'd come out to protest as un-American, as a plot by George Soros and the liberal left and the Democrats and, all this finger pointing.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for. I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective. And the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
At these people who came out to do nothing other than exercise their constitutional right to assemble, to express themselves. And then Trump comes out with this meme in the form of an AI generated image of himself flying a jet fighter over dropping a bunch of turds on the protesters. That level of debate, it's not even debate, that level of commentary, the infantile distractive method that is being employed is really it takes from the issues that are important. And in the conversation I was having with this friend of mine, who again is very opinioned and very intelligent, I was thinking to myself, as I am frequently doing, what really is important? At the end of the day, they're fighting in Ukraine. They're fighting on the continent, Sudan, the Middle East, throughout Asia, Pakistan and Pakistan and blank. And I guess my opinion is, would honest civil debate conversation be a salve for that wound? So I asked the question, what's important? And at the end of the day, people want to be safe. They want to be fed. They want their family to feel safe. They want very little. I mean, I remember after the Northridge earthquake, my parents' house was just fried. And we live in Los Angeles, obviously. And for much time, there was nothing other than, survival needs that were being addressed. During COVID, I mean, I don't care where you fall on the argument, and I do not want to have it, vaccines or anything else. But my experience during COVID was you were focused on taking care of your own and fighting the crowds at Trader Joe's and Target being faced with empty shelves and whatnot and what have you. And that's where the rubber meets the road. What are we asking the right questions? What is actually important? So my intention here is to do nothing other than be loud, to get people riled up, to get people excited. I've said it before. There's not a lot. There's nothing new. I am not selling anything. I'm simply suggesting a different perspective. I'm going to share with you what is unavoidable from my perspective and see if that has any resonance with you. Okay. Let my art speak for itself. I don't know who said that, but if that's a thing. There's no King's weekend that was happening. From what I understand, basically there were some organizers who leveraged social media and got the word out, rallied some support, and that multiplied and got larger. All they did was they probably almost, I bet you, used mostly free tools. I don't know that they were even asking for, maybe they were asking for money. I didn't go to the website. I have no idea. But all they did was show up and did something. And the result was what you saw. I'd be interested to find out who actually really was behind that. But as far as my politics go, I'm a libertarian, I guess. I told you I'm a registered independent. Or maybe it's nonpartisan. I think that's how I registered in LA County. And I guess I'm a law and order guy, with a certain humanity, but to, again, know that something is right, or to know that an action is required and to not take that action is, in my mind, an unacceptable path for me. And there are things that I know, like if I own me, I can wear pink, paint my nails, I can have an earring, I can do whatever I want. And you can accept me or not. That choice is yours. That level of maturity is something that can be achieved when you're arguably a teenager, become self-aware enough to acknowledge those things. I guess you could learn it younger. But at some point, it's nice to know. Hopefully you'll learn it. Be curious. Ask questions. I'm an active ally because I believe that allyship is only valuable when it is active. All right. So I'll tell you why I'm floundering. I am really struggling with more shit than I have in a long time. I think I told you that my father was diagnosed this summer with cancer, and he is showing up in a model way. I mean, he really is doing everything he can to take care of himself, and it is a real ass kicker to be subjected to the treatment and to be going through that process. And it's weighing on me. And in the category of knowing something is right and not doing it is a sin, I know that I have him here now. And I'm going to take every opportunity I can to see him. And I don't care that it cuts into my day. I'm going to see him because when he's not here, I'm going to be pissed for all the times that I didn't prioritize that because it's important to me. My son's mother called me the other day to share with me that my son has been in an accident. While riding his skateboard, he collided with a bicyclist, and I'll show you here.
So this is the coronary fracture here, and then just to make this a little easier to see, I'm going to remove the lower jaw now, but that's where that coronary fracture is. And then if you look from below, you see this is the normal cheekbone projection and the zygomatic arch here. Wow. And then on this side, you see that this same point here.
Oh my God.
So this here, and then this here.
His face is collapsed. He broke his cheekbone, and this thing with my daughter's getting bullied at school, this jerk off. After we spoke last, I had an opportunity to make sure that everyone knew what was going on, make sure that I knew exactly the steps that were being taken, and I showed up this morning. Let them know I'm here. And stuck my nose in and made a little bit of a ruckus and just said hello to everybody I could and made sure they knew who I was. That's a minor stress, you know. There's some other things going on that I'm not authorized to share. But, you know, everyone is challenged, and I'm not claiming my challenges are any more, only to explain that I'm a little bit scattered right now. I do appreciate those of you who have been watching and have been reaching out to me. In addition to speaking with Trent these last couple of days, I also connected with another friend of mine, Marcus, from middle school, about the same age as my daughter. I was 13 probably when I met Marcus. And all these many years ago, we were able to reconnect after some time, and it was very, very nice. So Marcus, I'm looking forward to it, brother. We are all part of a system. And the system that I'm referring to specifically right now has to do with the challenges that Americans face at home. Now, I'm focusing on America to the exclusion of the rest of the world, but in reality, the rest of the world is arguably much more important and a lot larger than the almost 400 million Americans that exist in North America. I don't think this is the end. I think this is just a chapter. But, you know, they fired James Franklin at Penn State. Wow. There's all kinds of stupidity that's being normalized and accepted as okay. The financial markets and the economic landscape, you'll hear Trent say, for the top percent is great. But unless you got $3 or $4 million to invest and the connections to invest it, you are SOL on riding the high on the. I mentioned that Trump now holding so much Bitcoin, you know, Ellison and Musk going toe to toe like Formula One race car drivers trying to take the lead, be the richest ever. I think Bezos is planning to move off planet. This shit's crazy, man. But opportunity do lay everywhere. And in the spirit of stealing like Picasso, we are building community at ep251020 where we are reclaiming our sovereignty. It's a decentralized democracy where aligned individuals are collaborating to create a world worth handing to our kids. The information is available at ep251020.com. It's time to take action, folks. Knock, knock, knock. Opportunity is here. No one's going to do it for us. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. We're doing it. You're invited to join the party. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share. I will say one last thing. P.S. The edited version of this is a more enjoyable experience. If you've sat through these 30 minutes, thank you. Thank you. But the edited version of these, which are posted shortly after the live, are a much more informed and clear watch. So be well. God bless. Peace out.